And good afternoon. It is Thursday, March the 20th, and we are here in Raleigh. We have just finished a very long session today. We spent an abnormally long lot amount of time in the chambers today. In the House, it would be considered just another Tuesday, but in the Senate, it seemed like a very long time. We had some pretty heavy bills on the agenda today, so I'll touch base on a couple of the bills we did this week, as well as since I didn't do a video for most of last week, I'll touch base on one of those. And as with every video I do, I will include a link to the bills that I reference in the notes, so that way you'll have an opportunity to, since I'm giving literally a 50,000 foot view of it, you can go in there and get into the meat of the bill and see actually what we are more specifically doing with these. So start kind of working our way backwards today. What was the long debate on the floor of the Senate today was Senate Bill 50, Freedom to Carry. Some folks may know this bill as constitutional carry. I've never shied away from my belief in the Second Amendment, and the right to bear arms is very important to me, and I think it's very important to a lot of North Carolinians and Americans. So this bill was making North Carolina the 29th state for constitutional carry. We had a lot of debate, and as typically with heavy bills like this, there are a lot of amendments that are offered on the floor by the minority party, and they today, it would not to be outdone by previous sessions, I think offered 12, 15 amendments. I may be off on that, but we actually, the Republicans actually did accept a few of those, maybe 2 or 3. Again, with any situation, if you genuinely want to affect policy and make changes, typically one would go to the bill sponsors and work with them ahead of time and try to come up with a negotiation. Most of these amendments were simply just gotcha publicity and wanting to make a splash and get in the news. And so we placed it right where it should be, either in the dumpster or on the table, with the exception of a few that we accepted. Let's see, yesterday we voted on what was House Bill 47. So this was actually not a bill, but a conference report. That means it has already gone through both chambers. Changes made, they come back, and then they kind of work out the final pieces, and then it's a non-debatable or non-amendable bill, because it's actually a conference report at that point in time. And so we voted on that yesterday afternoon. It was sent special message, which I guess that means very quickly, to the governor, and the governor then turned around and signed it yesterday evening. So the Hurricane Helene Disaster Recovery Act, I think this is our 4th or 5th one, spending right at $500 million. It has actually been signed into law now. There was some money for disasters in the east as well, so not simply Hurricane Helene, but I'd say the overwhelming vast majority was that we've still got some hurricane damage in the eastern part of the state that's literally been 6 years ago. It's still going on. As with Helene in the west, we're going to be working on these for a number of years. Last but not least, we did last week Senate Bill 261, Energy Security and Affordability Act. Again, I've never shied away from my stance on energy. I'm an all of the above when it comes to energy, whatever's going to provide dependable, affordable, sustainable energy. When I flip my light switch, I want to make sure it cuts on, and then I also want to make sure I can afford my bill when I get it. So this bill basically removed an arbitrary number that was thrown in, or an arbitrary date that was in some legislation regarding carbon neutral. It was not like the deadline, which I think is, it's on out in years, but this was an arbitrary date that was inserted in there, and it was estimated of anywhere between 8 to 12 billion, maybe more, of what that's costing our ratepayers in the state. So we felt like that was a prudent thing to do, is go ahead and remove that date while still continuing on our path to that carbon neutrality. Other than that, there was a number of other local bills that we worked on, as well as getting some of the governor's appointees to the cabinet and other secretarial positions, getting them appointed. The next week will promises to be another busy week. We'll continue on the Senate side working on our budget, and then we will hopefully get that wrapped up within the next couple of weeks. So That's all for now. Phone number, if you'd like to give us a call, 919-733-7659, and email address todd.johnson@ncleg.gov. Getting ready to head back to Sweet Union County, and I hope y'all have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks.